Straw Hat Pirates have finally reached the legendary land of the giants, Elbaf Island, and it is going above and beyond all of my expectations. In the first 3 videos, we talked about the Monster Trio and how their upgrades have given them access to new abilities that allow them to compete with Yonkos on a consistent basis. In the first video, we talked about the most gifted Straw Hat. In the second, we talked about the most broken Straw Hat. In the third, we talked about the most skilled combatant in the Straw Hats. And in the fourth, we're talking about the most creative Straw Hat. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to Brother Ghost Train for all the great theories, Brother Monkey D. Quell for all his great content he always be cooking, Doc Sake on YouTube for the great theory, as well as the Crap Cafe, who has a great long-form video on his page that is nowhere near poop. But we're talking about the only other brother in the crew who is the exact same age as our protagonist. The only person in the crew who has also been the captain of the Straw Hats. The only brother on the Straw Hats, shout out to Jacob. The only Straw Hat who is consistently studying every environment that he steps foot on. The only person in the crew with a background in botany and studying plants. The only brother in the crew who could tend any garden in the world, even emus. The only other Straw Hat who could have been a part of the Red Hair Pirates if his father gave a damn. The only other Straw Hat with God in his epithet. In Oda's favorite picture of the entire story, the celebration after the Sky Pea victory, where Luffy hits the iconic Nika pose, as we see here and during the rooftop on Wano Country. And who is that right behind the sun god Nika himself, playing the drums of liberation? Oh yeah. I've been hearing a lot of Usopp Disrespect recently, and I'm not here for it. Like,
Usopp has had 2 cold moments.
Okay, but they were very, very big moments.
And one of the cold moments was him and betraying his captain.
I wouldn't say that was his cold moment. I'm talking about after time skip when he unlocked his hockey ability.
Bro, he did that shit for that, like, Usopp fans, that is the only thing they're holding on to.
See, my boy, I think we're looking in the wrong direction for Feats because, as you said, it's been consistent throughout the story that this brother has been a quote-unquote coward. But the problem here is that my grandmama told me back in the day that if you're scared to do something, just do it scared. Usopp is the definition of that. Let's go through some feats. First, let's talk about the feat that Mike brought up, the Sugar Snipe, and how there is 3 things that you can take away from this that are important to his abilities and upgrades on Elbaf. 1. Usopp's observation haki is different compared to 98% of the story. He is able to perceive an object or opponent's spirit. The only person who has something similar is Admiral Fujitora, who is not only blind, but these people are right next to him. Usopp is also able to perceive literal spirits, like he was able to see the Mary's Cobalterman. This is confirmed by Frankie in Water 7, but he also stated this is the first time that someone had ever outright said that they had seen the Cobalterman. This means that Frankie, coming from a family of shipmakers, even the legendary Tom San, has never stated that he has outright met the Cobalterman. Meanwhile, Usopp is getting warnings from the spirits about impeding danger. 2. Usopp hitting this shot also proves that he is not only a great sniper, but a meteorologist. We know Usopp's understanding of the weather has to be comparable to Nami, if not better, because he did invent the Climatak. After visiting the Sky Islands, Nami said she wanted a magic wand that controls the weather, and Usopp said, bet.
I'll stop talking now.
I love this thing!
Some skill! That must be highly advanced in jutsu!
It's so awesome! It's like you took all the science of Witheria to the absolute limit! This is the sorcery climatex I've always dreamed about!
In seemingly no time, Usopp created Goku's power pole that can extend to unnamed distances, has Frankie's upgrades, has all of the implements of every device from Witheria, which is nuts, and it can summon the storm. The third, and arguably the most important, is what happened when the attack hit. The attack did not touch her at all. It might as well have knocked her out with Conqueror's Haki, but it did leave a portrait on the wall. Why is that important? It goes back to another one of Usopp's greatest skills, something we've known him to do since the very beginning of the show. That's his ability to paint and draw. Elbaf showed us that the main form of transportation for the giants is rainbows. This is possible through somebody called the Sunstone Painter. This is where Miss Golden Week enters the fray, from Baroque Works, aka the flag bearer of freedom. Through her painting ability, as well as her skill that she calls Color Trap, she is able to hypnotize anybody she wants. Each color has a completely different status effect, and it bypasses the strength of a strong Devil Fruit user. As we've seen with Luffy, as when she applied the black paint, he betrayed his allies. When he got hit with the green paint, he sat down with her like they were friends and drank tea. Yellow paint causes uncontrollable laughter like laughing gas. Red paint is cool as a distraction because it forces the opponent to attack wherever the paint touches. And the blue paint emits sadness and depression. There was only one Straw Hat who was able to figure out how to get around this ability. Who was it? The one and only. We find out in the cover stories that she had an even more potent ability called Rainbow of Dreams, where she paints a circular rainbow into the sky, and anybody caught under this is basically turned into whatever they desire most. And under this ability, she was able to hypnotize a full island of Marines and prisoners and get the prisoners to escape the island with her. We see just how powerful this ability is as it affects a warlord of the sea, Crocodile, and we find out that he still wants to become the Pirate King as he changes into Gold Roger's clothes, and Mr. One wants to be a Nacho Libre. And when Miss Golden Week was hit with that same status effect, she popped an apple on her head because she wants to be like Dr. Vegapunk, greatest and smartest scientist in the world, along with an island full of inventions that will progress him 500 years into the future. Something that blew my mind is that a natural occurring phenomenon in the One Piece world is a circular rainbow. It was Usopp that figured out that this natural phenomenon might be the gem that the explorer was talking about.
Look at that! A round rainbow! I've never seen a round rainbow before.
Me either.
I don't know what it means, but I like it!
Hey, hold on just a second. Do you think that rainbow's the gem he was talking about?
Well, now that you mention it, a round rainbow is known as the gem of the sea.
That's a feat! We know Usopp has a very versatile inventory within his arsenal with the Pop Green. You add the fact that his Kabuto is alive, he can turn any form of rubble or debris into infinite ammo. The craziest part is that you can just add water to it and it transforms. It starts off as a mid-range hunting rifle from Fortnite. Add a little water and it turns into a long-range monster. Then fully hydrate the Kabuto and you get a deep-range deviant that even the snipers of Trigon have to respect. You add the fact that it would not take much for Usopp to modify that sunstone paint now that he has Frankie and Vegapunk next to him. We haven't even started talking about Luffy and Usopp's connection to beetles and how beetles connect directly to the sun god. Luffy, Sabo, and Ace battling with them as kids. Usopp befriending Kabo, a Tantara who ate the Beetle Fruit. Luffy is so in love with beetles that when Chopper asked him which is greater, the Atlas beetle or the One Piece, Luffy did not have an answer. Heracles, the explorer and botanist who trained Usopp during the Going Archipelago, quite literally is dressed up as a beetle. Forsaken Prince of Elbaf, Loki, was stated to have killed his father for a legendary Devil Fruit. That Devil Fruit is probably potentially one of these four options: the mythical model Fenrir Fruit, the Fire Giant or Surtur Fruit, the mythical human model Perseus Fruit, or the Atlas Beetle or the Hercules Beetle. I think the next big wolf candidate is not Loki, but Saint Garling Figureland, the supreme commander of the God Knights, the warrior of science, and the newest member of the Gorosei. As the supreme commander of the God Knights, he feels like a leader of a savage pack of wolves. That's not going to matter to the Soge King after he gets his upgrades. Usopp's future opponent is Von Augur with the Warp Fruit and Usopp the Chaser. The reason that Von Augur got the Warp Fruit is because that is the only fruit that can keep up with a scared Usopp. I can bet my bottom dollar there is no one in the verse faster than a scared Usopp. He's like Hemi from Over the Hedge.
It never ends that way, too.
creating distance without half the effort, disorienting observation with the paint, inventing new gear through Vegapunk and Elbaf. He's goated.